Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. It's Friday night. Got a special Street Fight Quarantine Edition. We are working on our streaming capabilities, setting things up, and for the first time ever, we're remotely streaming with two guests, Sam and Sam from District Sentinel and Means Morning News. One of our tour mates from the Hellfire Congregation of Radical Egalitarianism tour. And, all around great guys. So thanks for being here, Sam and Sam.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
I don't have to leave the living room.
Yeah,
Ever.
but we wanted to leave.
Yeah, we did.
That was the sad part, is in a month we would have been all hanging out together having the best time again. And in
That's true.
fucking New York. And now we're probably, that's canceled, I would guess. I mean, not officially yet.
Not if Trump does the right. Not if Trump stands up for all of us small business owners. We're trying to get back to normal. We need income.
Easter! We got our tour. We're coming to you, Philly, on Easter. Easter show.
Easter show. We're moving it up. It's going to be beautiful to have all the Street Fighters together in a room on Easter Sunday.
Can I
I
ask?
just want to hang out in the van again. I think as long as we all quarantine for 14 days, we can hang out in the van for a week or 2 weeks.
I have been saying, like, in the past week, something that's really hit me because I watch wrestling, basically, is that it is really sad that there are no, like, big events happening right now. Like, none. In the whole world, there's no crowds of people, which, there are a lot of people that makes them happy, but I am a person who needs big crowds of people to feel good. I love it. I love being in crowds.
Ryan, you're preaching to the choir here, because me and other Sam have been waiting for some sports to gamble on here for a long time.
There is Belarusian soccer going on right now. I don't know if they're playing in front of crowds, though. They might be playing in front of empty
I got these
stadiums.
scratch cards here, too. I'm trying to, scratch cards are still a thing. So
Okay.
I'm up in my scratch card game to get the
Analog.
run.
They should let you guys gamble on WrestleMania. They really should. Like, I guess the problem is that it's pre-taped
Yeah.
this year.
Oh,
You
is
can
it?
bet on esports. You can bet on
Okay.
dudes playing video games. You can bet on people gaming online. So
You know what? I heard on
They
the...
also have betting on reality TV, so there is a chance that WrestleMania might have a line somewhere.
Well, it's
Oh,
pre-taped this year, though. It's not live this year.
Reality TV a lot of the time is pre-taped
True.
too.
True. If you guys need tips, you come to me. I will help you bet on WrestleMania. Now, here's the problem with WrestleMania. None of the matches that were supposed to happen are happening. So I won't know any of the stories, so I won't have any inside information. But I do know Vince McMahon's brain, and I think I can figure out who's going to win. Like, all their stars dropped out because they have a guy named The Miz, Mike Mizanin. He was on The Real World, if you remember.
Yeah. Oh, I know the Miz. Yeah.
Yeah, he had COVID-19 and decided to show up to work. And
seems like the type.
everybody dropped out of WrestleMania after that. They were like, no, I'm not going to do it. Fucking Roman Reigns was like, I just had fucking leukemia, my man.
Yeah.
Now all these pictures are coming out too of like the Miz sitting in hot tubs with other wrestlers, and it's like, no, this
Sharing
is how it
cigars.
happens. Yeah.
So, you know what's funny? Eli Uden on What a Time to Be Alive podcast said that he misses being around strangers.
Me too.
Like going to the bar and just have some stranger's world like thrown right in your lap and just have to kind of deal with
I
it.
had that yesterday. Can I tell you guys a quick story? Guy stops me on the street and he's like, can I use your lighter? And I'm like, yeah. So I hand him my lighter. And then he holds on to it, and we're standing there for like 3 minutes, and he's telling me an incomprehensible story. And I was like, you know what, buddy? Just keep the lighter. And I left and bought a new one.
Yeah.
Good call.
He was not, he was laughing and pointing at some guys down the street.
Yeah.
And all kinds of stuff. And I was just like, I don't think this guy is like gonna stop.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's how he gets free lighters.
That is. It's
The
smart.
best way to get a free lighter.
So we
Take it
got
hostage.
we got the Sams here tonight because my current obsession, so it starts out like this. Brett got obsessed with thrash metal, okay? And I am into Danzig. And then sometime last week, I started to think about the PMRC, right? The Parents Music. Started to think about the PMRC, right? The Parents Music Research Corps and other wives of other politicians. I don't think there were any like actual politicians. RC, it was wives, and then great guy in the music industry that they can't reveal who. Odd claim.
yeah.
I think. But since me and Brett are kind of dumb guys and we don't know a lot about what you guys call Piss Town, Washington, D.C., we thought having you two on here to watch the PMRC hearings and maybe a few videos from Oprah and stuff, you could shed some light on some of the people that we're looking at. And also it would be fun just to hang out on a Friday night. So what do you guys know about the PMRC?
Well, this is pre my expertise in Congress, but I was coming home from school and watching a lot of Oprah, so I might know a little bit more about that. But I did watch some of the hearings and read into it a bit, so I feel and know kind of a Sam Knight, who's now a wife guy, probably knows a little bit more than I do about this topic.
Well, can
though.
I do, before we get to Sam Knight, I would love to talk to you, Sax, because I think people see you as like the straight ahead news guy a lot of times. What kind of music did you listen to when you were a kid?
Dang, I think the first album I bought was an Oasis album. So I listened to a lot of 90s alt rock as a kid and hip hop. That was about it.
So I
didn't listen to. I'm a bit old or younger than you. So I was one in 1985. I was a teenager in the late 90s.
Did you get grief from your parents about your music at all?
No, never.
Wow,
no.
Me neither. Dad one time asked me if I wished I was black, and I was like, that's kind of a racist question, but I'll just let it slide.
Yeah.
Knight, what do you know about the PMRC?
Well, I know that they created a real fervor pitch in the 80s and created sort of a moral panic around the music industry in general. And which I personally am familiar with because when I was in high school, I was a Dead Kennedys fan. And I don't want to give it away for anyone who doesn't know the story, but I think that's where the Oprah thing ends up. And that's my personal expertise. I also know that just in general, it's never fun to have to testify before Congress. And, you know,
experience.
Well, I mean, sometimes you can make an ass out of the whoever's asking the questions. Some people do that well, but you know, I mean, it'd be reserved for like, you know, business people doing fucked up shit and like dragging artists before like
particular hatred for the Dead Kennedys. I will say that, Sam. So you were on the right side of history. Like, what other kind of stuff were you into at that time?
I mean, I was into punk in high school, but I was into all kinds of music. The first album or the first tape I bought, I think I was in like first grade, and I bought the single for "Whoop There It Is" by Tag Team.
Tight. My first one was a Fat Boys album and Sam Kinison.
But I'm not trying to like, you know, pat myself on the back too much, but I feel like that's like a really fucking sick tape for like a 6-year-old to buy or whatever. But then I got into like Green Day and The Offspring and shit when I was like in 3rd grade. And
Jesus,
I remember my mom, I bought like Nirvana's Nevermind, and there's like a photo of Kurt Cobain giving the middle finger in the liner notes, and my mom saw it and was like, oh no, like, you know, it gave me like
So you got grief about?
Yeah, a little bit, but it wasn't too bad, you know. She didn't like snap the CD in front of me or anything. She just sort of like, made some disparaging remarks and then never followed up. I also remember, and a lot of people my age, I don't mean to ramble on here, but a lot of people my age can relate to this, which was Dookie
Oh
by
man.
Green Day was one of the first albums I bought. And like I listened to it in the car with my dad and shit. He's kind of into it. And it led to some awkward questions like, what's masturbation? And other things. And so, he handled it pretty well. But yeah, I mean, I can see why uptight people freak out about music because their kids probably ask them questions like that. If they can't handle it, then they literally call the cops, as we will see later.
It is remarkable how many kids, Sam and I are pretty much the same age, learned a lot of things from the Dookie album.
I know,
That's right.
I know. And I had it, and the only comment, but my parents didn't watch what music I listened to. Like every now and then, I would get grief. One year I asked for Ice Cube, The Predator album, or no, Death Certificate for Christmas. And my parents got him confused with Ice-T, who had done Body Count. And they were like, your aunt and uncle are cops. Do you think that they want to buy you a CD that has a song called Cop Killer on it? And I was like, I mean, I don't care. I would sacrifice my Ice-T any day of the week.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, for Christmas, I wanted the song, the Into Deep, Back to the Hotel.
Oh, that's a good one.
And my dad bought it for me, and then like they pre-listened to it, and my mom was like, "Oh yeah, and your father bought that Into Deep, but you're not getting that trash." She told me I was gonna get it, but it was. I lost it. I also, one of my first run-ins with the PMRC was I stole that 311 album, Grassroots. It's like their second album. I stole it from Kmart, and I didn't realize all of their stuff was censored, and so I needed to find the one that had the parental advisory sticker on it to get the full album.
Yeah.
So I had to go to another place to steal it.
I did get a message from somebody today that said their mom did not care what bands they listened to, but they had to buy the albums at Walmart, so they were edited. And I was like, imagine fucking growing up and listening to Limp Bizkit all day, but it's the edited version of Limp Bizkit.
I also, so I was also into like the early pop punk stuff, like Green Day and Offspring, and that spread into like Fat Records and West Coast stuff. So I was really huge into NoFX as a teenager, and they've been around since the 80s. So they had an album called The PMRC Can Suck on This.
Yeah, it rocks. So many bands did, fuck the PMRC stuff and stuff like that. Yeah. So I will give a short, quick history of the PMRC. Tipper Gore's daughter asked for the album Purple Rain for her birthday. So Tipper, being a great parent, went and bought her daughter Purple Rain and brought it home. And she says this is normal. I don't think this is normal. She brought the album home, and then her and her daughter sat down on the couch and listened to it together. Is that odd to you guys?
No, I mean, it is. I mean, it's not how I would do it, but in that time period, like, yeah, the parents were assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I'm really not a parent, but yeah. Go ahead, Brett. Sorry.
When I was a child of the 80s, I felt like I was treated like a dog most of the time.
Yeah.
True. Now my kid, like, I get down on all fours like a dog just to talk to my kid right in her eyeballs and like understand her emotionally and intellectually.
Yeah.
I was just pretty good in general about hiding what I'm listening to and watching from my parents. I wasn't really like Sam where I'm putting it on an ad, but so they wouldn't really know what I was listening to most of the time.
So yeah, they must have trusted you.
But I'm not a parent, so I feel like, I don't know, as a parent, maybe you would be curious and want to know what your kids are listening to, but they didn't seem to be that curious.
It isn't.
I don't care. Personally, in my opinion, I've very much been hands off about what she listens to. Now, there's a difference between me and my parents, as my dad's favorite bands were like Pink Floyd and fucking Elton John, and my stepmom multiple times said I don't like music.
So I mean, I have an alternate theory, which is that Tipper and Sarah didn't actually sit down and listen to that album together, but Tipper barged in on Sarah, or Sarah was just listening to it and she, was like, in the other room and was like, "What is this filth?"
I think she's trying to set the standard as like, just like any good parent, I listen to my albums, to every album with my child, and it's like, no, you fucking don't. You got to make tuna noodle casserole.
So the song "Darling Nikki" comes on, where there's a sign about masturbating to a magazine in a hotel lobby, and she says,
"It's more than that."
Yeah, that's the line that she talks about. Okay, and she says that her daughter was horrified. And said, "Get this stuff out of here! I can't believe this is here." And she herself was also horrified.
I sincerely doubt that.
I do too.
I would think that if I wouldn't want to listen to that with my mom, though. I don't think if I was 15.
But you're not. You have to put on a horrified show.
Exactly.
For your
that's what
mom.
I'm saying. She's misreading. She's misreading her daughter, being like, "Oh my god, I'm so fucking uncomfortable right now."
Yeah.
Yes, Brett. I think you nailed it there.
So, here we go.
But one more thing, sorry. So the other thing I think is funny is that in this time, they felt like the lyrics could really control people, would make them do all of this stuff, especially with like the devil worshiper shit too. And it reminded me of when I was younger. One of the parents took me into a room to talk to me about Magic the Gathering cards because they thought that we were trying to summon demons and shit. And they were concerned that we were going to like open a portal to hell or something. Oh, you can't hear us?
I need to add it back to the call.
Oh, no.
What happened?
Hold on. Uno momento.
It happens.
We need a technical difficulties sign. Like someone sawing their hand off. Sawing their dick off.
I'll message them.
We need a thing that says technical difficulties and it's a dick getting sawed off. Dave Davenport already drew the dick sawed off. All right, I'm going to return to the Dave Davenport. All right. Oh, shit. What happened? Are we still streaming?
We're still streaming.
Yeah, we're
Can they
still
hear us?
streaming. They can't hear.
Disconnected from the Skype call. I needed to add it back to the Skype call.
They need added back?
No, he does.
Oh. Give
Street
me
fight.
1/2 of a second here. Jeez. Hold on, guys. 1 minute.